Productions. I'm Intox along with BDot, baby.
Hey, let's get it, bro.
Welcome to episode 124. What's going on?
124, baby. We in the building.
We got a special guest for you today.
Yeah.
Somebody that you guys already know, but what's crazy is y'all never heard from him. And, you know what I mean? Because he hasn't been up in this area in a while. But what we decided to do today was make a phone call. It's our first phone call interview, right? And so we're going to bring Dane out. Great Dane.
Bomb droppers.
Yeah, so
Big Dane.
You know him from the music. He's one of our big producers. He's still producing stuff for us to this day. You know what I mean? He's one of the big influences in our music from everything we've done. You're going to hear some music from him today. You've heard music from him before. That's the crazy part.
Right.
You just haven't heard him until now. So without further ado, let's get into it. Dane, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Here we go.
Hey.
What's happening?
Yeah, man. Welcome to the Awkward Network, man.
Awkward.
Yeah.
I'm here.
And that's crazy.
I have arrived.
That's crazy. We always say, hey, who was that? That Dane beat?
Right. I was trying to remember.
Yeah, we always say that, boy. We always try to think like,
I was like, that might be a Dane.
yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? That's definitely a Dane beat.
Because that's what we say. Even to this day, we're still pulling beats from you. You still send us beats here and there. You know what I mean? So we're still using your stuff even to this day. So it's crazy for, like I said, sometimes we'll play either old music. Sometimes we'll just go, damn, was that a Dane beat? Because it sounded like a Dane beat.
Right. Right.
And look, it was that sound. That sound.
Right. That's what you've always been about.
That sound, that feeling, that emotion, that energy.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's
Yes,
what
sir.
you always have. And that's another thing I meant to say. He's part of the Pisces gang.
Yeah.
So you've got a certain, you know what I mean? There's a certain sound you're going to hear when you hear the Pisces gang. You know what I mean? So back in the day, I used to forget that all the time. I used to forget that he was a Pisces gang. I used to think he was Aries for some reason. But that's,
No.
But that's
No.
that's nonstop.
You said
That's
that.
nonstop. he's the Aries of the crew. So yeah, what I wanted to get into or whatever is just get everybody introduced to you per se, because this is the first time they're hearing from you. Is give us a little background on like how you got into music early in life and whatever kind of turned you into thinking, man, music's something I want to do. What are you thinking?
Man. Shit. It's probably similar to probably everybody.
Right.
House parties.
There it is.
House parties. Good old country house parties. Family, drink, and everybody just in the music.
Right. They're always playing
Right.
music and jamming and hanging out.
Vibing and shit, right?
Nice.
Yep, I can remember waking up in the middle of the night, and there it is, music just going. I walk in the front room, and everybody on the floor. Everybody on the floor.
Cutting a rug.
Cutting up. Shit, next thing you know, me, my brothers, we on the floor.
Right.
It's all shit. One thing about it, music.
Right.
Music moved everything. It was always there.
Right.
It was always there. I always had a passion for it.
Yeah. That's true. I know what you're saying. I mean, there's a lot of stories like that. So it's very interesting that you kind of had that a similar type of, bring up where music was the core, That's interesting.
Right. I ain't never heard that before. But me personally, I ain't never heard that.
Right.
What got you into music?
Right.
But yeah, that's what's up though, man.
Yeah,
So
it was always like early on being young, it was always really pretty much just the dance of it.
Right.
But the actual, the creation, that came later.
Right. And that's what we're going to eventually get into. And that's why that was good you started way back there. You know what I mean? So you had that musical influence as a kid, y'all cutting rugs and everything, jamming, barbecues, backyard parties, house parties, whatever. And then, as you started progressing, did you get into music, rapping and different things like in high school, or was that later?
Nah, that started, I want to say that started when I was getting ready to go into high school.
Right.
I used to always play around at home and stuff. Just shit, me and my brothers, my homeboys, we'd sit around, tape recorder, trying to record songs, trying to sing, all that, rap, sing. I mean, we was into everything.
Did you ever use a karaoke machine?
Not early on.
Not early on.
Not
Yeah.
early on. It was just a basic boombox.
Yeah, back then that was me. In my high school days, I was using the karaoke machine because it had 2 tape decks and you could record from one to the other. So I realized that if you play the song on the first one and you record on the second one and then you use the mic, you just rap right over it, but you had to do your whole fucking thing or it didn't work.
Yeah. You have to put the paper in the tape so you can record over it.
Right. For all you youngins out there.
Yeah.
Don't know shit about tapes, cassette tapes.
Got to put a little piece of paper in the corner.
Right now, my cassette tapes are like when my dad had 8 tracks. You know what I mean?
I remember 8 tracks too. I remember that riding in the motherfucking Z28. Me and my uncle. I remember them 8 tracks.
Damn.
Yeah, man. That was a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all 80s time. It was like they were still putting 8 tracks out there. You'd find a car every now and again where you could pop an 8 track in. You'd be like, what?
That's crazy. I remember the 8 tracks, but I think I was just they were just coming out with the just leaving.
Cassettes were already good.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the time we knew what was up, that's why like when I first saw him, I was a kid and I first saw him. And I was like, I brought it to my dad, and I was like, Dad, what is this?
Yeah.
Like I felt like his little case, and it was a case of them, Yeah. And I opened it up and I pulled it out, and I'm like, Dad, what is this? He's like, that's an 8 track, and I was like, what the fuck is it? Like, I barely knew what tapes was.
Right. It should kind of remind you of a tar.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Similar.
Yep.
Very similar.
Yeah, the tar.
Very similar, right?
A cartridge.
Same kind of cartridge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's crazy. Yep. And that's the only system I had.
Yeah.
I had like 2 games. I don't know. I forgot what it was.
Which
I
one?
forgot.
Regular
I
Atari?
forgot. Yeah.
Atari 3600 or some shit.
Yeah, the XJ, some shit. 900. Yep. I remember those.
Nice. So, once you got into music and through high school and stuff, what got you into? Let's move on and say what got you into like using instruments or playing. What do they call that?
Trying to make beats. Shit, my uncles them.
Yeah.
They played in the band. My uncles and my cousins, all them was like in band. They played instruments.
Right.
Mom didn't want to let me fuck with band, so I played football.
Right.
But I love music, so shit. I got with my uncle. He had a keyboard.
There it is.
And pretty much that was it. And I started with small little Casio, just messing around.
Right.
And shit, me and my partners, and we used to just, as kids playing, trying to, come up with little shit. And then I'm gonna say going into high school, that's when it was really like, okay, this is something I want to do.
Right.
So I wish I had the tape. I wish I could find the tape. I would love to recreate them songs if I could remember.
Right.
I wish I could.
That would be the shit.
I wish I could. But I remember that. I remember learning, like, I didn't know what it was at the time.
Right. You were just working on it.
Yeah, my uncle, they homeboy, he sampled a lot, like he produced.
Right.
So my uncle was trying to teach me how to play the keyboard. I couldn't, we didn't stick with that shit. I ain't really try to learn that shit.
Right.
And but he had made some beats. And shit, it was like 7 or 8 beats, and I just recorded to all of them. And just recorded because it was just something like, it was something I wanted to do. It was just like, okay, I'm going to do this stuff.
Right,
no direction, nobody around me really just doing it. It was just something I wanted to do.
Right,
and it went from there.
Just felt cool.
And I mean, but shit, even before that though, shit, like the high school plays and different things like that. Me and my homeboys and shit, we had a little group.
There it is.
What was it? The Fab Four or something like that.
The Fab
Four. Crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
Fab Four.
I mean, shit, that was like, I'm gonna say, that was probably 8th grade.
Everybody had high tops.
Right. Shit.
Everybody had high tops, afros.
Yeah, high tops and shit. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where are those photos at?
Beatboxing and shit. Yeah.
Where are those photos?
Man, that was a crazy time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, a lot of like during that time, a lot of like my cousins, a lot of them, they was heading more toward the street, but shit.
Right.
You know, I was thinking about that shit, but it wasn't long before I went there.
Right. Right.
It wasn't long.
If they're doing it, you're more likely going to lean into it too. It's how it works, man. I got you. I've been there.
Yeah, but I didn't stay in that world too long. Shit, hell, for long shit.
Just had to see what was going on.
Yeah.
It's safe for me.
Well, you had to understand it just to know what it was and how to, you know what I mean? Just the basics of it. That's how I felt like when I went through shit like that when I was a kid. You know, getting into stuff. I kind of just got close enough to see what it was, but I didn't burn myself. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was like, what's going on over here? Let's go see what's happening. You know. So, but that, you know, that way too, because you know it helped me fit in too. You know what I mean? Like you could fit into different groups when you knew different shit. You know, so it's like the more I knew, the more groups I could fit into. I always felt that way growing up. You know, it was like I just always was able to pick up culture and things easily and just kind of start, you know, figuring it out real quick. So yeah.
That's how I was. I pick up a lot. There's something about a Pisces.
That must be.
We don't need really direction.
Right.
We just need to see it in our hands, and we'll take it apart and put it back together.
Yup.
We'll figure it out. We'll make it work for us.
Bomb droppers.
You know
that sound like a Leo right there.
Pisces gang, baby.
Come on, Leos.
He said, come on.
Y'all sound good. That sound like some Leo shit right there. What?
I mean, to this day,
nah.
I'll be surprised at some of the stuff. It ain't like I don't know how to do it or that it's hard. I just never done it before, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it, and then boom, hit it right on, right there.
Yeah,
Yes,
once you start once you start, we was just talking about that before the show, right? It's like there's things we should be doing, and we're just not doing them, but we're, you know, and we all got different time and effort we can put into things, but you know, as a group, that's what somebody said. I heard it today. They said, if you don't need help doing what you're doing, then it ain't big enough.
Bomb droppers.
And I was like, I like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's why we've always had crews and tribes and people, you know what I mean? We were supposed to be working together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. We was always supposed to have tribes. We was always supposed to be working together. You know what I mean? They tricked us with individualism and shit. You know what I mean? We could still be individuals, but we didn't realize that working on by ourselves was so fucking hard until now.
Yeah, we didn't got so far removed from that.
Right.
And it's like it ain't the same no more. And you know, I have moments where I'm with a group of people and the fellowship and everything is there. It just makes you forget.
Right.
But most of the time, it's not like that. The energy is not like that.
Right.
And you know, I don't even go out no more.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Because it's always something popping off, and I'm like, I ain't trying to be in the middle of it.
Right.
I don't want to turn up on nobody. I don't want to come up outside of myself. I just want to chill.
Right.
Definitely.
I don't be on no moment.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm very similar in that way of I'm not running around out there like crazy. I just go to the places I need to go. I go a couple extra places here and there because I know that I have to spread my energy properly. Other than that, I'm with you. I don't be trying to go nowhere at all because I'll be like, I know what's happening right here in my house. I got everything I need.
That's it.
What else do I need to be doing?
It.
I don't need to be out there spending money on what? Doing money on what?
Right.
Same things I can get right here.
You already got a lady, so you don't need to. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm not out
to be out.
around.
You know. For what?
I tell you one thing though, the vibe was everything when it was.
You talk about
back in the day.
When,
just going out when you can go out and continually have fun.
Right.
And everybody was having fun. But it was everything.
Right. Well, back then though,
that shit played a big part in music for me too.
Right. Right. But that's what I say. But back then, like I'm thinking about it, right? What you just said in high school is like I never like when we went to house parties and you're right. All I had to pay for was gas to get there. Like we didn't have to really do a lot. You know, you might have to buy my little $1.49.40, bring my 40 with me too. You know what I mean? But other than that, you had $5, you was on your way. Like back in the day, you could move around. It's like nowadays, it seems like every time you try to move around, it's just like costly, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's costly, but at the same time, you can pretty much work with what, as far as things, being costly and stuff, you can maneuver around it.
Right. You just got to be savvy.
It's more the energy, the different energy. Everybody's different. You got a group they laid back, they like to have fun, they like to drink, they like to do that. And then you just got the energy. You got a class of warriors with no direction.
Right.
Bomb droppers.
All they know is war.
Correct. We've talked about that.
That's crazy.
We bred. You got to remember, like this single mother thing. You know what I mean? The abortion situation. They was trying to stop the army from coming. You know what I'm saying? And they couldn't because it was going to get here one way or another. And so that's what I mean. So right, and it's here now. We're in the last war. We talk about that kind of shit. We're in the last battles right now. You know what I mean? Man. And so we don't. And then my other side of that is that's why we're having less kids now, because we don't need to build the war up anymore. We're here. We're in it. We don't need to keep progression. You know what I mean? So what we have at this moment is what we're going to go through with. That's the idea.
Bomb droppers.
Welcome to the new world.
Man, that's crazy. Thinking about that, I think at the peak of me and doing music, I saw all this shit coming.
Right? Yeah. That's the whole reason. That's the whole reason we keep going back to our music. But definitely, you're listening to the album again. When I've listened to it over the years, so much shit in there. I'm like, fuck, there is so much shit in this album. And the album we're talking about is "Return of a Dying Breed," Dane and Nonstop. That album, that came out in 2012, but y'all worked on it for probably at least starting in like 2010, probably, right?
No, before that.
Even before that?
That was before that. That was like end of 2008. I know 2009 for sure. Yeah. Because Raina was being born that year.
Okay.
So
you did say that. I got a child on the way on one of your songs. Yes, I heard that. Yeah.
And it was like.
Remember that? Yep.
It was for her.
Right. That's true. Like, you did say that.
It was for her.
Yeah.
And now when I go back and listen to it now, it's like, damn, that shit was for me now.
Right. You was leaving yourself a message. Definitely.
Bomb droppers.
That's what we were all doing, man. We were all leaving, because that's what I'm saying. We go back to some of our music from 2010. I go back to some of my music, but I did in like 04. You know what I mean? 07, and I was saying shit that is like sounds prophetic now, but it was always happening.
It's happening,
and we're just in cycles, and now this is the last cycle, so we figured it out. You know what I mean? That's where we're at.
It's like you already know, but you don't know.
Right. That's why we're just remembering.
Right.
We're just remembering. So we left ourselves clues
to
where if we get up here and we go, did we? Oh, it's over there. There's the clue. You see what I'm saying? We left clues for ourselves. We're decoding shit. We're figuring it out. We're watching, you know how we do the movies? We always talk about the movies and we're decoding the movies and shit.
Yeah.
We left shit in our music so we could decode it now.
Bomb droppers.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and just get into the song early, man. Let's get into it now.
Run it.
So we're going to run it right now. Hold on. Give me a second because this might get weird. Give me a second.
Nah, it's all good.
People are strange.
There we go.
When you're a
We're going to mute you, though.
Faces look
So enjoy.
when you're
enjoy.
alone. People are strange. When you're a stranger.
Some strange
Faces
motherfuckers.
look ugly when you're alone. People are strange. When you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone.
I seen so many faces, don't know who the hell I'm facing. Outside forces and voices that know I'm not crazy. I seen them in my home, I hear them in my head. Driving down the street in the rearview, yeah, they following me. Got me plotting on people like the residents are evil. Thoughts not my own, hearing that they all beneath you. And ain't no weakness in suicide, you gotta be strong, just take your own life. Misconception and lies is what they live by. If 51 is the area, I don't know and I ain't telling you. Female got you screaming for answers. Now who's the carrier to this pandemic? Creating sickness, taking out guns, creating prison. Guys is watching our backs, plus they lie by taxes.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. People are
Got us peeping out windows, on the phone hearing echoes. Oh no, secret societies. Why the hell would they lie to me? Used to be in the Navy, they signed a treaty. 2 million, gone a year, no investigation. They don't care, using fear for control. The young and the old, let us all beware. Time is precious. If you're waking up, turn the TV off. Research will help those that don't know the reason for FEMA camps and coffins. People running, dogs walking, martial law and covers up. Mind control, capital massacre. Got me pissed in my zone, scared to leave my home. Stacking ammunition for the war with the throne.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly.
See what I'm saying? It's been in the music. It's been in the music.
Real. You said some stuff like ain't even happened back then. It just happened now.
It's happening now.
Like the coffins, like the coffins in the FEMA and shit.
Because he saw the patterns.
That's
See what I'm
crazy.
saying? He saw the patterns. And that's what I'm saying. We left us clues because we saw the pattern. Because I'm telling you, I went to sleep too. I went right back to sleep. Right after like 2014, I went right back to sleep. And I was asleep till like 2018. You know what I mean? And then I woke back up and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is that? But at that point too, I had lost my wife. I'm figuring out a new life. You know what I mean? I'm figuring all these things. So I'm like, it woke me up. You know, I'm like, I was sober. I'd been sober like a year and some change at that point. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on right now? You know? And I was like, you know, and then once the fucking jab came, then I definitely woke up. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, this is everything they said it was going to be, you know? And just started figuring shit out, man. And so, yeah, that's why we play like Voters Beware on the Congressman album. That came out in 2009. You know what I mean? And that was a Dane beat. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, we're talking all this shit. We've been saying this stuff. And then we just, you know, for me, part of what happened with me is I went to sleep because people were looking at me like I was crazy. And at the time, I didn't know how to handle that. My ego couldn't handle that. You know what I mean?
And he even said it in the song.
Right. See what I'm saying? My ego couldn't handle it back then. So I shut down. So I shut down. I was like, fuck y'all. And I shut down. And I went back to sleep. But now I don't give a fuck because my ego doesn't give a fuck no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Ain't nothing like taking a rest.
Right.
Sometimes, some moments when you get in, you gotta be still.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I was telling you the other day, man, when we was chatting and you was talking about just, you know, being at your house and relaxing and not really doing much, this is also the time where some of us are supposed to rest because we've been fighting this whole time. You know what I mean? That's what it was. We've been fighting this whole time, and so sometimes this is the moment for some of us to rest, because the final push is done. We don't really got to push no more. It's done. All we're doing is waiting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that hit me hard last year.
Yeah,
and I was just like, fuck everything.
Right.
It's time to be still.
Yep.
I'm tired of fighting.
Yeah.
I always think about that. I'm tired of fighting, and then I think about the one song. I'm tired of hiding.
I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of hiding. Yeah, I got that still. I still got that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually on the phone that's recording this right now.
Yeah, it be like that, man.
Yeah.
So taking those moments and really just reflecting and looking, have that moment like, what the fuck I'm doing, and just looking at yourself and looking at everything, stripping every layer of yourself down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the work.
Looking at the good, the bad, the ugly, looking at all of it.
Yes, sir. We always say you got to step back and look at things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reevaluate what's going on.
That's the work we talk about. When we say you got to do the work, that's the work we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
What he just said, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking inside you, peeling those layers back, and you know what I mean, and just dealing with shit and just understanding and going, damn, I really fell for that shit, you know, and all that kind of stuff. You tell yourself so many things, you go through so many conversations, and that's another Pisces thing. We talk to ourselves constantly.
That's what he said. You know what I mean? And he said, motherfucker think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
No. It's cool to talk to yourself.
Right.
It's crazy. That song, like listening to the song, and every time I played the other day, just riding to it. I kept it on repeat. I kept playing it, and I was just thinking about that shit, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'll be living those moments.
Right. You manifested it in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm like, shit.
Yeah. You manifested. You put it in the air, and then you put energy into it, and you moved with it. And so because that's the thing too. That's the crazy part that I think about sometimes with my music. Is there certain things that I said in my music, and then I've done it, lived it, and been through it already now, and I'm like, wow, I said a lot of shit in my music, and then I did a lot of that shit too. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And some of it, I was, it wasn't, it's not like I was like lying about it or trying to be, whatever. And it was like, it was just the things I was saying I wanted. I realized that somehow I made them also come to life.
You knew, but you didn't know.
Yeah. Again, right. And so that's the crazy part about it, when you think about it. So before we get too far off, so now that you're done with high school, you join the Navy, and then
I'm out there.
Yeah.
I'm out there. I'm on that water.
You end up in Maryland, right? And what year was that? 03?
Man, 04? That was That was 01.
Oh, you was here that?
03 is when it really it popped off.
Right, because I was trying to remember what I wanted to get to was we linked up through Who You With, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 01.
Right. That's what I thought. And I was like, so when did you link up with those guys?
Shit, man. I don't even know Todd. It had to have been Todd.
Yeah.
No,
I'm talking about Who You With. How did you get with them at first?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, through Todd?
It had to have been him because he was the first person. I won't say he was the first person I met.
Gotcha. Okay. So so he brought you to all of this. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's weird because at the time he was technically our manager. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
He was technically our manager.
I don't even know how the music even came about though, because we met, figured out we was both from Louisiana, and we was cool.
Right.
But as far as the music part
he didn't do music. So that's why he was.
I don't even know
that's how
he knew to bring me to that place.
Right. No, right. But what he was, like you said, because he was our manager, anybody he was meeting that had to deal with music, he started pointing them our way. You know what I mean? So that was kind of what was happening with that.
Yeah, but I don't know how he knew.
Yeah. I
wasn't even thinking about music when I met him.
We sent our angel to find you. That's what happened.
And the crazy part is he said,
I still got that CD here.
Yeah, I got him too. I still got it too. I'm like,
place, right?
I was on that shit. So Dane, Roy, and Sam and Ren are all from Louisiana.
Oh, why?
Yeah.
Cool. Damn,
different areas, but
trio.
It
don't matter.
There, yeah. So that's what first connect is what he was saying. Him and Roy got connected because of that. They were like, "Oh, you from Louisiana? Cool." And then they started kicking it and hanging, and then so now he introduced you to Who You With.
Yeah.
And then we was over there as well. We were introduced to them as well, and then we all started making music together. And then we made that first album, right? That the little Who You With EP or whatever they put out.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, we did that.
Yep. And I think I've played that song on this show, folks. So you might have to go back and find it. But that was the song I did.
I ain't listened to that shit in years.
Yeah. If you only had one day to live, tell me what would you see? What the fuck was that song? Now they put a singer on it because I wasn't there for the singer, but I did the two verses. So
you did that song, and I did another song, and I can't.
Yeah, you did one. I remember there was one that you were working on. Yeah, did they never put it out though, right?
It was somebody else. Who else was on that song? See, I need to find that CD because there's somebody else that was in there that I think knew Todd, and that's how everything happened.
Right.
I can't remember who. It was somebody else that was on that song.
Oh, was it the Who You With? Was it because I think they were all in the same unit together.
It was somebody else though.
There was another person on top of that. Okay, got you.
Yep, it was one more person. I can't think of who it is.
Yeah, I don't remember anybody else but them. That's it. I remember you, and then like that was it. I didn't really fuck with too many because then it's like I don't even want to talk about it. It wasn't negative, but it was like I looked at it negative at the time, and so that's why we ended up parting ways with them. It was something that happened. I
ended up getting deployed.
Yeah, and then he rode out and got deployed, and then I dipped out.
Yep.
I dipped out in 03, and then you got with Ren. He stayed with Ren and them and started working with him in Nonstop and shit. And they was doing a bunch of shit. And then like I said, he stuck around here. So yeah.
I was just hungry for it. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
None of us did, man. None of us knew what the fuck we were doing.
Boy, I can pull up an old beat CD right now, and I'll be like, ugh.
Right. It's almost crazy because like sometimes like when I hear like different people like youngins rap now and stuff, and when they're really good, I'm just like, that's because I paved the way for your ass. Like, because when I was your age, I was not rapping like that. You know what I
mean? Man, it's crazy because all this said paved the way, man. It was even the production styles, man. MySpace was, man.
You grew a following? Grew a nice following?
Man. No, I believe motherfuckers was just my style. They just ate that shit up.
Right.
I can hear my shit and everything. I sample certain shit, boom, somebody else on the same shit. But they in the right place to pop that shit off.
Right. I remember that. I remember you'd make a beat and then all of a sudden we hear like a new song and they would have like the fucking same sample. We'd be like, what the fuck? We were like, what the fuck? Yeah, that happened multiple times. Yeah, that happened multiple times around that time. Because I came back. I left in 03 and I came back in 05, I think. 05 or 06.
So that's when I came back. I came back off that deployment in 03.
Got you.
Because I'm trying to, it was crazy. Because 9/11 popped off, we dipped out, came back, but then I don't know what happened in between though. Because man, I was just a B-more. I was just out there. I was in the streets, in and out the club.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was probably your strip club days, right?
Shit, man, they didn't stop.
He said it never stopped.
Them motherfuckers never stopped once I got up there. Once I really got up there. Because, like when I first got in the military, the places I would go, man, the strip clubs wasn't about nothing. But when I got there, it was just different.
The block was down.
Yep. Huh? And all that shit played a big part of the music.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's true. You did a song, Close Encounters. Close Encounters. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, dog. I would find influence anywhere. And still to this day, I hear certain stuff and it'll have me, I zone out. Mm-hmm. But then I pull away from it.
Yep.
Because there's always that
there's times I hear some new stuff from somebody or something and it'll inspire me. Yeah. And I'm into it.
Yeah, man.
All of a sudden, I'll sit there and write 12 bars and then be like, damn, where'd that come from? Let me put that down for a minute.
Yeah, it was just awesome. I might do something on Facebook. Something up there. Yeah. And, it ain't really... It'd be certain shit like I'll be wanting to speak on, but then I don't. Or I do it in a slick way. Right. With like a quick couple bars.
You just got to find your way. Yeah, yeah. You got to find your way to do it because I was there too. I'm telling you, when I like I said, when I woke up, I didn't start this channel till 2020, end of 2022. You see what I'm saying? So, for like the 3 years before that or so, I was just holding my tongue still. You know what I mean? I was wanting to say shit about things, but I was like, every time people are saying shit, everybody's getting like pushed down and knocked around, and I was like, yo, I'm not ready for that right now. You know what I mean? I'm not ready for these motherfuckers to start coming after me.
That's how I feel now. I'm like, where the fuck my voice go?
Yeah, I wasn't ready. But that's what I said. What I did though, and you know what I mean, because I know Dane is on his journey. You know what I mean? Is what I did was I got my mental together, enough to know who, like how they say, know who you are. I got my mental together to go, who am I and what am I doing and what's going on right now? Because am I going to let everything out here affect me? Or am I going to start figuring out what I'm going to deal with and not deal with? You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And so that's where so that's when I started and I'm like, that's why we talk about navigating your world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I started navigating my world instead of letting my world just fucking take sucker punches at me. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what I had to do. And it's, it's an ongoing process, but once you put yourself in that mode, it changes the game. That was what happened.
Yeah, for real. Your mindset. We always say that.
Change your mindset. Yeah. Once you get your mind together, man, and that's why I say you're on your journey. You're fasting. You're doing different things like that, and you and tell them about the supplements.
Shit, you change that gear. Oh shit. Elevate your life. That site.
Yeah, you'll see it on top of the screen.
Check it out, man.
So
give your body what you need.
That's what I'm saying. And you heard his song. You heard the last album we did, right? Did you not hear that one? Yeah.
I don't know if I heard that. I might have.
He did.
I might have. I ain't gonna say I haven't.
On the Kinglomerate album, if you haven't, go back and listen. On the Kinglomerate album, he did a song, Dr. Sebi, Elevate Your Life. Vital Vibes. That's what it was. Dr. Sebi, Vital Vibes. And it talks about all the shit we was talking about with the fucking black seed oil and, you know what I mean, and the moringa and the different stuff, the different herbs and things we should be eating instead. Those are our natural medicines instead of the fucking medicines they've been giving us. You see what I'm saying?
Bomb droppers. For real.
Did we lose them?
If you want natural.
No, I'm here. I'm looking and I'm trying to pull that album up because I want to see I'm trying to think, did I miss this one?
Yeah. It talks about this. It's all the song is about.
Gorillas
Vital Vibes. Yeah. The King, what you looking on? What you searching on?
I'm on Apple Music right now.
Okay, yeah. Shit. Type in Kinglomerate.
Yeah, I got it pulled up.
There you go. Yep, you got it.
You ain't hit energy.
He got it.
Shit, you can spend your energy all day.
Yeah. Yeah, that one came out on January 1st. That was a New Year's album.
I think I did.
Yeah.
You know something?
Yep.
Do y'all still carry on the tradition, the New Year's tradition, New Year's Eve tradition?
Nah, we stopped that a while back. Yeah, we stopped that a while back.
Shit, we just celebrated Happy New Year's.
I be wanting to bring that shit back because it would always set the tone for me for the rest of the year.
Got you. I see what you're saying.
Always
because we brought
tone.
Energy, and it was like an energy song of just trying to like uplift us for the year. And so I'm with you. I see what you're saying. It was a good thing. We didn't use it as just a party and bullshit. We were like, yo, what's up? You know, we would talk about the year we just had. We'd be like, you know, and then we'd be like, where I'm about to go or whatever. You know, so yeah, it was crazy how a lot of the shit we talk about now, we was doing it. We just didn't know what the fuck it was called. You know what I mean? We was doing all that shit. We was uplifting each other, and we, like you said, we was, and we used music to be competitive with each other, but not in a bad way. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, make stronger beats. Okay, do harder lyrics. Okay, you know what I mean? Like who's got the, you know what I mean? And so it was its own competitiveness, which, like I said, when you're working with different people in anything, you want people that are better than you, because that's how you learn. You have to learn from the people who are good. And you know what? Oh, shit. When I just said that.
Oh, boy.
The last couple of jobs I had, the dude who knew the most always snatched me up somehow. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if they saw that I knew what I was doing or something, and they would always be like, yo, come work with me. And I'd work with them for a while. And they would be hard on me, but I was learning from them, and I realized, oh, you the top dude here. You see what I'm saying? And then at some point, within, so much time, now we're equals. Because of what Dane said earlier, the way the Pisces do it. Once I start seeing and I learn and I'm figuring shit out, I start using it, and I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here. You know what I mean? And so like, I can do your job now. You see what I'm saying? And so you know what I mean? And so, yeah, and so like, once I do that, like I said, yeah, it's crazy how but what's crazy is they came and got me. I didn't seek them out.
All right. That's
you see what I'm
saying?
saying? No, I didn't seek them out.
All right.
They came and got me, and that's when I realized what was going on. I was like, oh, shit. I go, oh, you trying to tell me what's up. A couple of them told me specifically, I grabbed you because I'm leaving. I may be leaving here soon. They're older. I may be leaving here soon. I'm going to pass on a bunch of stuff to you. They just chose me. You know what I mean? And so that's why I was like, okay. You know, and I was like, okay, shit. And then that's when I started realizing, you know, like I said, as you learn more, I'm just soaking all that shit in. You know what I mean? But I didn't realize it until now how that fucking worked. That's crazy.
Hey, let's get it, bro.
I have those moments now.
Yeah.
Where I just soaking shit up. I'll be with one thing ever since I've been young. All I can sit back and I just watch my dad do something one time and I had it.
Right.
So like anything job or anything he doing now, I'm right there. If I'm around, I'm right there. And I'm soaking up everything I may have missed.
Right.
If I need to do anything before I call anything breaks, I'm calling him.
Right.
And it amazes me, like, this motherfucker just went in the military. This motherfucker ain't go to no college, but it ain't shit he can't do. And it just be amazing to watch him just fix shit.
Right. That's I love that.
And
I
all
love
I have
people
to
that
do
work
is
with their
see
hands.
it, and then I got it. I sit back and I be seeing people be like, man, I need a plumber. Man, do anybody know any plumbers? And I be sitting back thinking to myself, I'm like,
Right.
Man, I could do it, but no. I'm not about to start something. I'm not going to start it if I'm not going to keep doing it.
Right. I got you.
But that's so much stuff I would started and just stopped.
Right. But that's what I'm saying.
Like,
Pisces are kind of like that. We're that jack of all trades kind of a guy. You know, we have a plethora of things we can do. You know what I mean? It's like, I can move in multiple ways. What do you want? I'm flexible. What's up? You know what I mean? Like, we're those people. Yeah. You know? So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Because it's crazy how, now that we're having this conversation, how I'm seeing a lot of parallels in a lot of things that he was doing and things I was doing. You know what I mean? Even though we were separated by time and space. We had a lot of similar things we were doing, and you know what I mean? And then that's why you think about it, right? They say you meet people because you're on their vibe, you're on their frequency. So we must have been in a certain frequency at that moment for us to all connect.
Yeah, and we was dog.
Bomb droppers.
I don't think, you know how they have like the Avengers and the multiverses and shit?
Right.
I don't care what universe you go to, you gonna find us together.
Right, exactly. I was talking about it the other day, and I was like, they were saying, what was it? Somebody was asking, like, what would be your superpower? Like, if you know, like, what would be your superpowers? You know, like, what are gonna be your superpowers? You know what I mean? Like, have you ever really thought about it? You know?
Yeah, I done lived mine in my dreams.
Yeah, what is it?
Man, flight, and also that damn. Well, I guess it could be the same thing. A shield. If you can build a shield around yourself, you'd be able to fly too.
So you use your aura and flight. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. I was saying what mine is, because I'm doing it right now, is I'm Doctor Strange. I'm manipulating time and space. So I'm like, I'm Doctor Strange. I'm gonna be like on that level. I said, so now I just gotta focus on how to open portals. That's what I don't know how to do yet. But I'm on my way.
Open shit. You better be careful what portal your ass walking into. What you opening?
That's what I'm saying.
Now.
I'm gonna call on you guys and I'm gonna say, yo, I'm opening this portal. Y'all wanna roll? And we're gonna go roll and see what's up. That's how.
You know something I've been thinking about, like you said, you working on stuff. I've been thinking about going back to our medicine.
Right. Yeah.
Because that was like always my healing was always my thing. I always, ever since a young kid, I always felt like I had that power. For so like real, like took the power healing touch.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt like that, and I'm like, man, you know something? It ain't too much that, you know, I could see myself like as time goes.
Right.
Time goes on, the world changing, and you know where we could end up at. I say, shoot, you know what? I need to focus, get back more upon healing.
Yeah, you know, and I'm with you.
I need to get back into it because you know.
Here's what you need to do. I'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Start figuring out the type of healing center you're about to build. See what I'm saying?
Oh no, I've been thinking about that since since I was up there. It's always been a thought.
Yes. So put more energy into that thought of what type of healing center you're gonna have. Yes, exactly. See what I'm saying? That's what if you start focusing on that and putting energy into that and building the ideas, and that's exactly where you're heading. That's the cheat code to fast track you there.
Bomb droppers.
You're welcome, sir.
Want to ride on a fast track? Who's a boy?
You got the fast pass for this ride.
Nah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's something, you know what I mean? Like, if that's a passion of yours, start going after it. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you'll start walking into it. That's exactly how you do
and
it.
Especially it's from young, and it's burning you up now. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like you said, jack of all trades.
Yep.
You know, I am tech savvy. I always been tech savvy, but I didn't. When I went in the military, I didn't choose tech.
Right.
I chose health.
There you go.
And then most of my military career was leading me toward, you know, like from boot camp and all that. I was going to a battlefield med, and it's like, I couldn't see myself at that time when I was in the military. I couldn't see myself in the battlefield, being a medic in the battlefield. I couldn't see it, but I see it now.
Right. That's why you were there.
Like, I see it now. I'm like, shit. If something pop off, it's just natural instinct. Like, I would immediately just know what to do. And so I'm like, shit, man, you sitting around here, you got so many books on different things, and you don't pick none of them up. At least pick those up and keep that knowledge, that medical knowledge, fresh in your mind. You already know how you did the work.
True.
Right.
You know, because, you know, if society break down, you know.
Yeah. Well, because
if it isn't salvaged, hey, I can go ahead and be the little witch doctor I always wanted to be.
There you go. Right. Exactly. So that's the thing, is that's a prepared, not scared. You've already been prepared. Now, if anything goes down, you've got that. If nothing goes down, you got that. So you win either way. That's the whole point. Yeah. If we're learning from our mistakes and we're understanding our deal, we know where we're going, what do we got to worry about, folks? Come on.
We got to worry about nothing.
Right.
You know.
For real.
I ain't worried about nothing.
Right now, that's where I'm at. My mind is locked. And I'm not worried about nothing right now.
Right.
And sorry, I'm about to be that way, or I'm that way now, but it's
right.
It is what it is.
Yeah, we're moving forward.
That's what led me here. Like, and then I could do
right
about it.
Another thing I'm big on right now is this right here. I ain't got to do a motherfucking thing. You know how folks always saying you should do this, you need to live this way, you need to do like this, and you need to do this, you're supposed to be this. No, I ain't got to do a motherfucking thing.
Right. I'm just doing me.
So, yep. Just doing me. What's amazing, and I don't know how often y'all see it up there.
Right.
But, you know, I'm in the South country. We still see, you know, certain things that it's like it's always been there, but it's like, why?
Right.
Where you see people that all they do is drink all day and they sit under a tree. You don't never see them go to work. You don't see them do nothing. They just sit under this tree. And for years I've been like, man, it's some power in that tree.
Right.
not a worry in the world. They got their bottle. Whatever they doing under their tree, they doing what they want to do. And they living their life. They gonna meet under their tree every day.
Right.
And I think about that and it just hit me. You know what? All this shit keep happening, and I can't call back to at least some mid-level of where I was, where shit was kind of comfortable. You know what? I ain't fighting this shit no more. I ain't got to do a motherfucking thing. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to chill. Mm-hmm. Whatever I want to do, whatever I decide to do, that's what I'm going to do.
That's it.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Awkward Intelligence.
That's it.
Where we teach, not preach.
Yeah, I can't tell nobody. It ain't my place to speak on that stuff. Right. So have at it.
Mm-hmm. You do whatever you want.
Please enjoy it for me.
Right.
If I want to go that way, let me go that way. You go your way. Hey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To each his own.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dang, you want to go to such and such? You want to hit the trail ride? Nah, I'm staying out the way. Have it.
I'm good.
Have it.
I'm straight.
I didn't like the rodeos when I was little.
Right. Oh, that's another thing, though. Yeah. Your inner child. That's another way to heal a little, to heal some of your mind, man.
Oh, no. Yeah. I try to stay in it.
That's exactly.
Yeah, I try to stay in that now.
But exactly. So yeah, your inner child. So it's like, do the things that excited your inner child. Do it now. Who gives a fuck what it is? Even if it's playing with Barbies. You know what I mean? Like if that's your fucking thing, then fucking do it. You know what I mean? Get your fucking G.I. Joe action figures. Find a couple of them. Do what your thing. You know what I mean? Like that's what we got. We got to get out of this fucking. I'm an adult now and I can't do these things. It's like that was the whole disconnect. That was to disconnect you from who you really were. You know what I mean? You just here to have a good time. That's what fucked me
up when I moved back down here with the music.
Right.
I'm glad you said that. That's what really killed it.
Right.
Came down here, I moved back home, and I'm like, okay, I'm back home. I ain't been down this motherfucking long time, so I got shit I'm supposed to be doing. Cool, that's easy.
Right.
All right. Other than that, shit, let me go see what everybody's doing. Man, they had a little club. This motherfucker was open every day, but that shit, like when I moved back home, that shit started to die out. They wasn't doing it every day. Like all niggas just go up in the club every day, all day.
Right.
Different shit like that. When I first came home, we were just chilling and shit. But shit just went left, but it's crazy.
But they've circled you back.
How, when I moved down here, I only had one child at the time. They wasn't with me. So, okay, I'm back down here. And I'm looking at my classmates, I'm running into people that's still around.
Right.
And their energy is like, okay, they raised a kid. It was like they had no life in them.
Right.
They wasn't doing, but they wasn't doing bad or nothing. Everybody's successful. Everybody doing their thing, but it was just like
there was no real. Yeah. It was like there was just the mundane everyday.
Yeah. And shit, I wouldn't like that because shit, military shit. We go handle our business. We come on. We kick back. Even after the military, it was just like, okay, shit, whatever. I was never really tripping about things. I never worried about things.
Right.
I didn't really understand or really have that concept. That concept was never in me to worry.
Right.
About nothing.
Right.
So life was always, fluid with me.
Right.
But the more I got down here and stayed down here, I fell into that. And that shit took a lot out of me.
Yeah,
the worry and
the mundane. Oh shit!
Yeah. But I always said, and it was always metaphorically, but I always said I came down here to die.
Right. I got you.
And I knew that the energy, it was just gone.
But that was an ego death, though.
Yeah.
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 It was an ego death. Yeah. I know. See? Pisces, man, we know what's up.
Bomb droppers. That's crazy.
I can read it, man.
And you know what? like, I've been thinking about a project, and it's crazy. I've been thinking about a project for a while. I've been thinking about a couple projects, but there's one in particular.
I'm listening.
that motherfucker called The Eulogy.
The Eulogy. Right. I got it.
And I got certain tracks that I've listened to, and I just ain't, that my voice ain't back yet to where this is what I need to say, or this is what I want to say.
Right. I hear you.
That's what I've been trying to find. I've been waiting on it to come back.
You're just out of practice. That's all.
Yeah. The energy. Yeah. It's the energy.
Mm-hmm. Well, working on you, right? Working on your mind, working on your inner child. That energy will come back.
Yeah.
You're on your way. You're on your way.
It's hard to capture it and stay in it. Mm-hmm. With just stay in it. It's hard to capture it. But
the world we living in, we can't stay in it.
Yeah, it's not the same anymore.
Right.
It's a lot of fear in it now too, and that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy how that fear came into it, and it just took a hold. And I'm sitting up there like that. Where's my voice at? Why do I feel like? Why do I don't want to talk no more?
Right. I've been there.
And it's like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I've been there.
You don't want to deal with this shit because everybody got something to say.
Yeah.
And that's been a part of this past year here now. Just getting away from that.
You're getting ready to break it. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it's been like a detaching.
That's why I said this interview needed to happen. Yeah. Not even interview, this talk. We don't do interviews here. We're just chatting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? We needed to have these conversations, and I apologize because I probably should have had this conversation sooner. You know what I mean? Truthfully, like, but go ahead.
Yeah, it ain't need to happen soon. It's on time.
Boom. That's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear.
Coming up on that year.
That's what I wanted to hear. See what I'm saying?
I knew it's coming up on that year, and it's been a year of detachment.
That was an alley-oop.
It's been a year of detachment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just not.
Yeah, you're seeing it. And you've always seen it, and that's why I said when we have conversations, me and you were always like, yeah, I see what's happening. I see that, whatever. Mm-hmm. And you'll tell me some shit, or whatever, and I'll just be like, oh, yeah. I didn't even fucking think about it from that angle. Like, I see it. I see everything you're seeing, but I'm like, that was a whole different angle than my angle. Like, I was like, oh, shit. But they both meshed, they meshed it and made it more. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, sometimes that'll happen and stuff. But that's crazy. That's when you get two Pisces together, because we're both seeing the shit, in our own fucking ways. So that's why I said I'm manipulating time and space at this moment, We're getting it on. We're multidimensional. We're getting it together. We're figuring it out.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's just thinking about this. I think this past year has been amazing. Just letting go. Mm-hmm. Letting go.
Yep.
Not stressing about nothing. Mm-hmm. You still have the little moments where something like irritates you or something like that.
Yeah.
But getting back to that point to where that shit I can just shake that shit off so easily now, or not responding to the negative rah and all that shit. Mm-hmm. Not even just how.
We've talked about this. Yes, you're hitting it. You're hitting the points for the people because we've talked about this.
Yeah, not responding to or reacting to certain things.
Yeah, it's controlling
to get it to that point.
It's controlling your emotions and controlling your stuff. Yeah. That's why I said. That's why I said I stopped dealing with. I was like, I'm gonna pick and choose what I'm gonna deal with. I'm not gonna let it deal with me. You know what I mean? So it's like if I don't want to deal with something, I don't deal with it. And then when I'm ready to deal with it, I'll deal with it then. But I'm not gonna be sitting here thinking about it and worried about it and fucking. Oh my God, I gotta, whatever. Like I got out of that. I was like, no, I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah, I had to get out of it because it was like it was gonna take.
That was half of your stress right there.
Yeah, it was gonna take. It was gonna. I knew what it was gonna take, It wasn't gonna take nothing physical. It was gonna be all mental.
Mm-hmm.
All mental. So I'm like, okay, I got to start letting everything that's like physical that I really would do. Where I'm going right now, I don't need this.
Right.
I don't need this.
Yes.
Get rid of that. Get rid of that.
Get rid of
and
it.
everybody around me is like, why are you doing it? Why you gonna need your car? You gonna need this? You know what I'm saying? What about that shit? I said, I'm gonna be all right. Wherever I need to go, I'm gonna get there.
And there'll be one when you need one.
Exactly. I mean, ain't missed nothing I didn't want to miss.
There you go.
Everything that I could have went to or attended any function, I chose not to go.
Right.
Nah, I don't want to do this. Nah, I'm chilling. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. I damn sure ain't missed no meal.
Right.
That was the easiest part about it.
Right.
It's just me. So okay,
right.
boom.
How much do you really need?
Adjusting my diet was nothing. Staying focused. The only thing is staying focused in it, because you know you're gonna have that's an everyday fight. Because you're gonna have moments where, damn, I want that soda.
Right.
Man, I want that beer.
Yep. But then you don't have a quick way to go there.
Yep.
So
I
you
want
go,
that chicken.
yeah, I don't need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm with you. I do it all the time.
Man, look, I had got more into cooking. And it'd be funny when people would be like, man, I always knew you could cook. And it's just like they're sitting up here like, you knew I could cook. Motherfucker, I ain't know I could cook. I didn't grow up cooking.
Right.
You know, like I do little shit here and there.
You just started channeling it, huh?
Yeah, it's just a certain shit that I choose not to cook.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, it ain't gonna turn out the way I want it to, so I ain't about to waste this and try to make it.
Right. Gotcha.
You know, it's certain things like now it's like, okay, I want to do that, but I ain't gonna do it yet. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I kind of want a bigger kitchen for some of the stuff I want to try.
Right, right.
You want to flip some shit. You want to flip some shit. Add a little wine, maybe.
I ain't gonna do all that, but I would rather have a nicer setup to where I can,
He wants to be able to move around and do what he needs.
No, I got you.
Do a little bit more.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to fight that little kitchen he's in.
Yeah. But another thing was my youngest daughter. I'm like, okay, I know. All right. When she come here, one thing about it, we can't eat fast food every day, all day.
Right.
And
is that what she's eating?
Like,
or is that?
Yeah. Since she's been like 2, it's been like shit.
She loves it.
We rocking together.
Right.
That's my dog. And we gonna eat, so nigga gotta cook. Right. So I've always just cooked with her. That's what increased my cooking. My having my youngest daughter. That's what it made me start cooking more.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm glad I did that.
That's why it was. That's why it was presented to you. Good. You saw it.
I'm so glad I started doing that.
Yes.
Because it was like shit. Hey, that fast food getting high. I was seeing that years ago. I'm like, I can't keep up with your mama lifestyle. I got to turn you on to these foods here, and we're going to figure out what you like, and we're going to roll with it.
Right.
Like her favorite meal is greens and cornbread.
Nice.
She eat that shit like a cereal.
That's a good meal.
Definitely.
That's a good meal.
And I be trying to...
With some butter on them. Ooh wee.
I'm into it.
Like
do you know you can make butter?
She's getting older.
Yeah.
I think she done seen me shift through different emotions, and she's like that too.
Right.
Like she has like that rage and that anger like me. So like one day she's like the first time I really seen her fall out and just have an episode, it humbled me because I saw my younger self.
Right. Right.
That really is like, I was like, oh man, that's me all day. I can't even be mad at her.
Right.
Baby, I know what you're going through.
Right.
I know you ain't in control right now.
Yeah, it's crazy when you see the other version of you, right? Like, oh shit.
I remember how I felt for me, and I'm like, I know my baby ain't in control. I can't, man. Like most people, like I see a lot of people, and everybody got their own parenting style. That's one thing I won't do. I ain't gonna tell nobody how to raise their child.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you really in tune with your child,
they raise themselves.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're raising yourself too in the process.
Right.
You getting to relive what you did to your parents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you're in tune with your child, you're gonna know exactly what to do for them.
Right.
Mm.
Like some people believe in that. I'm gonna, to spare the rod, spoil the child. Some people gonna get on their child ass.
Right.
And some people, they had it a certain way to where, okay, I got through that and it was cool. Mm. Some people got it so bad that, I ain't doing that shit.
Right. Yeah, you become the... They say you would... Yeah, my bad.
Oh, I was going to say, going through it and knowing why it's happening, what happened, what you did to cause that, So, just watching these kids and just seeing that shit, man, it's those moments like that.
Yeah.
Can't nobody tell me.
You're able to reflect.
Yeah. Can't nobody say shit to me about being a parent.
Right.
Well, I would never let a motherfucker tell me because my situation is not like theirs that I'm a weaker parent than them. No, you can't tell me that.
Right.
Because I know you couldn't stand in this fire. You couldn't do it. What? Your situation is completely different, and you are not me.
Right. And they're not the same. The child ain't the same. They're different children. They're different people.
Yep. A lot of people forget that they're different. Mm-hmm. It's hard for the world to see the difference in each other and to understand that we are all different. Well, we all think different. Right. We may link on certain issues mentally. A thought here, a dance there, across the globe, doing the same shit at the same time. We may link, but we are still all different.
Right.
The way the voice talk to me, it ain't gonna talk to you. My walk ain't your walk.
Right.
And we don't respect that about each other no more.
That's the whole satanic shit going on right now, man. They've pulled people away from everything so much that we don't even have love for each other anymore. That's a lot of what we talk about. And that's the whole point of trying to remember that consciousness, because once you start leveling up in consciousness, you'll realize that hurting people is so wrong. You're like, why was I even doing that? You know what I mean? Like, you start going, what the fuck? Why would I even treat people like that? You know what I mean? It just changes your whole, you start changing and I've been there. I've done things.
Yeah.
Everybody's done things.
But the crazy part about it is when you really realize you ain't even doing that to nobody else, you're doing that shit to yourself.
Right. Right. Exactly. It's a reflection of you. Right.
But when you look at people, and we look at people who we would consider bad, or that's a terrible, horrible person, when we look at them and what they do,
right,
it's just the opposite. The same way we feel about how we move, they feel about how they move.
Right.
It's like, it's the same thing. It's just on different ends of the scale, hot and cold.
Right, exactly.
Like you can't, it's like, it's crazy, but you can't have one without the other.
Right. It's duality. Yeah. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy how this
yin yang.
If it was more of a natural flow of things, then we would be in a completely different place. But it's not natural no more. It's really never been natural.
Right.
But a lot of times we ignore the supernatural in it.
Correct. In that manner, right. Right. Everything else is just supernatural, but it's like, What do you mean? How did we get to natural? We never asked that question. It's like, why did this become natural? So, yeah, it's like, what was natural before this, or whatever, you know what I mean? We never asked those questions. We just, we took their base level, and that was our understanding. That's where they set our bar, and we stopped there, and that's all we did for a long time, and some of us didn't as much as others. You know what I mean? Some of us, some of us did it to a level, but we always were like, there's something else going on, though.
It'd be weird when that damn question pop in your head. Hold on.
Right.
Because the question be different for everybody, but it leads to the same damn place.
Right.
Leads to the same place. It started with music and just being in music. And I used to read a lot of the blogs, the early, I always been in that shit before they was calling them blogs.
Right.
I used to read Rap Radar and all that shit. I read those things
that's what
online.
I'm saying. Back then, you introduced us to Phil Valentine back then.
Mm-hmm.
And he's huge now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he wasn't back then, you know what I mean? Because nobody was really on that shit. Everybody was still
nobody outside of certain cities, we would, me looking at it now, people knew.
Right.
Our parents knew. They heard all this. Nothing is new. They heard this.
Same
all
information.
This information.
Right. Well, no, that's what my mom says.
The same shit. They knew. They chose not to.
Right. They chose not to react. Yeah.
They chose. They went a whole different route about it. It wasn't really. They didn't really see.
They had their fun, and then they were going to retire. That's who they became.
Yeah, they didn't see. They didn't recognize the enemy.
Right.
Put it like that.
Right.
They didn't recognize the enemy. They didn't know it was on.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yeah, if you look at it in that way.
Everything was popping so hard. You got to think. 60s, everybody together, they having fun, they smoking, they chilling. Everybody, it was love.
Mm-hmm.
70s, it was style. Everybody fresh. Everybody was out there. They were getting it.
Mm-hmm.
80s, it was a war.
80s started to go to war.
They didn't know they was in a war because niggas was getting money.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they really start, really just getting money.
That's true when you look at it like that.
Before that, they had money, they lived comfortable, they was doing good.
Well, that's why we say, anything they can do, anything they do to us, we're going to find a way out. That's they know that. They can't stop us. So, yeah, it got to, we've talked about that where, you have your where it decayed the people, but it also created a lot of people an opportunity to get out and start figuring shit out.
Exactly. And we in that moment now. We back in the 80s right now.
Yeah. Boom.
We in the 80s and 90s right now.
Yeah, I got you. That's why I say we're reliving it, right? We're reliving the war.
Look at that, and look at that energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I got you.
The energy, but
Yeah, that's why I said this is the final push. This is the final push. We're here.
It's crazy because sometimes I think about, and I remember being younger and coming home because I just always had a sense to pick up on certain little things. And I remember coming home, young sailor, and I came home and I found out there was something happened. Like I peeped it when I was up there. Like I was checking the news or something like that, just reading, just passing time.
Like local news?
I saw something happen down here, and it was on some political shit about some money. And I'm sitting up here like I came home, and I like my mom, dad, and all them sitting up there, and I'm asking, I was like, damn, what y'all didn't go vote on this shit? What happened, man? How y'all let that shit happen?
Right.
And get the fuck out of my face. You know what you're talking about. Like that. It's like, damn.
Right.
I left that shit alone.
Right.
So I always had a sense of, seeing certain shit like that. I've always peeped certain shit. But by that time, I was military minded. I was indoctrinated.
Right. Yeah.
I was in there. you could. I was proud.
Right.
Proud of what I had accomplished because it's like today. I still don't like if I see a person like I hate when I see a person and they'll tell motherfucker don't go in the military. You use a motherfucking lie. If you want to go.
Right. Take advantage of what you can.
Please go. Don't
just don't let it ruin you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Go. But if you decide to go, I want to have a conversation with you before you leave.
Right.
Because there's certain things that if you play it a certain way,
you're
gonna be all right.
That's the idea. Yeah.
But a lot of people don't give. A lot of us we won't just give the game no more. We gonna sell that shit to you though.
Right.
We'll sell it in a minute.
Right. Or run it on you.
It's so much stuff I see in the world where everything is for sale that I don't even want to be a part of it.
Right. Right.
For real. Should get trapped there, huh?
Like, man, look.
The spider web, wrap your ass right on there.
I've been following certain shit for a while. I'm like, I got a little knowledge about it. I know what I'm talking about. Or I know what they talking about. Right. But I ain't going to comment. I ain't going to speak on it. I ain't going to even give my take on it.
Right.
I'm going to sit back and I listen to them. And I remember when I moved back home, how my mind, what I was on when I came back home, and nobody wanted to hear that shit. Like you said, niggas think you're crazy.
Right.
So, okay, I'm going to shut up.
Yep.
Let that blood up.
Nice.
But, you find the circles you're supposed to be in with the people you're supposed to be in, and it keeps you at a certain place for a while.
And something I told another person when we were talking military shit one time, I told him, I said, also, man, we went into the military because we were at war. And unknowingly, we were there because we were there to do missions we didn't know nothing about. Right? You see what I'm saying? Because if we're multidimensional beings, we put ourselves in positions to get into positions. You see what I'm saying? We were pieces on the board.
Fighting for that.
You can say that shit again. Multi-dimensional.
Fighting against
it took me right back to the fucking dream.
See?
It took me back to that dream. And like you was asking about superpowers and shit. And I remember one of them dreams in the military.
Yeah.
It was a battle in the sky. I was fighting my ass off.
See? That's why you was there. See what I'm saying? You was there to do a battle, right? That you knew nothing about. You needed to be in that battle. And so they needed you in that location to get you to that battle.
It's crazy now, just thinking about this
droppers.
Shit.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about flight. And I'm thinking about the battle. Flying through the air.
Mm-hmm.
And the fight, just everyday life.
Right.
That shit in your head. It's a mental battle.
Right.
So that's the flight. The flight was the mental.
And that all is equal energy.
That's what the flight represents, my mental.
Right.
And the fight was I was fighting myself. That's what it was.
Got you. So you were learning how to control it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's crazy how I just got it now though.
Boom.
Bomb droppers.
My bad. That was supposed to be that one. You're right.
There it is.
Can you hear? Are you hearing this stuff?
Yeah, I hear.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I was like,
there it is.
Are we the only ones having a good time over here?
Yeah, I hear all that shit.
Okay, nice.
Wow.
This is our first interview. I keep fucking saying interview.
First phone.
This is our first phone conversation. And so we didn't know how it was going to go.
Nah,
we just went for it.
I damn sure didn't know how it was going to go. I tell you what I did today. I was chilling. I had to sand some shit down from my mom. And I was just watching different videos like I do.
Right.
Between Facebook and what's name, just watching funny shit.
Catching your info, right, yeah.
Yeah, listening to the reviews of Sinners, which I watched that shit for the third time.
Oh, I got to watch that one.
The what?
Yeah, man, I liked it.
It's a new
I
one.
liked it. I've been listening to the conversation, the speak, and it's good to hear everybody's take on it.
Right.
And
it's
hear
disclosure.
their thought process. Yeah, because it's like, okay, it's so many people that read into things like the rest of us.
Right. They're starting to wake up.
At one point, it seemed like it was nobody. But it was a lot of people. Everybody just really wasn't comfortable talking.
Right. That's
they
why
didn't have that incentive.
That's why everybody's starting shows like this.
Yeah, they didn't have that incentive to get out there. Now that it's $1 behind it, they I know what I'm talking about. I can do this. I can get out there and talk about certain stuff. Like me, I be wanting to get on there and just do stuff about movies because that's something I do. I like to watch movies and shows.
Yeah, create that. Decode movies. Just decode movies, man. Watch them and just decode them.
You just figured that out too.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't do it because it's like certain shit that I got to, still work out.
Right.
And it's like
come on, now, man. You're a Pisces. Work it out as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop that.
I could do it. I could do it that way. I could do it that way, but I really don't want to, I don't really want to get into it with nobody.
Yeah, no,
and just have those words because it's only so much talking I'm gonna want to do.
Right.
I ain't never been a person to talk too much. I'm gonna reach out and touch.
Me neither. I wasn't somebody who was like I was like, man, I'm gonna go do 125 shows in the next 2 years. I didn't think about it like that. I just was like, yo, it's time for me to start talking, and now I haven't stopped.
Yeah, I don't mind
because I was like,
I don't mind.
I was like, right. I was with you earlier when I was like, they told us to be quiet. I was being be quiet, but I'm gonna start talking again, and here I am.
And the one thing, like I got my partners and friends and people around here that is cool, but most of the time down here, since I've been down here, I've been more of a loner and more closed off by myself because people don't want to do a lot of those things. At least I haven't been around a lot of people,
right?
And I don't talk. I don't go a lot of places, so I'm not gonna meet those people that are into some of the same shit.
That's why you got to go online. That's why you got to go online. Yeah, definitely. But here's the other part about this too, and I've thought about this. Because of where you're at right now, that means you're powerful. You know why? Because they didn't put anybody else close to you. You're there to uplift that whole area, bro.
Yeah, powerful. I know. I got some. I know I got a little power. Mm-hmm. I've always known it.
Right.
I see a lot. It's people around me now, and I'm proud of them. Mm-hmm. I'm proud, and at the same time, I'm jealous because they're doing a lot more with it. And it's it ain't really nothing to be jealous about because they had it in them to do what they needed to do. I just ain't found my niche yet.
Right. That's it.
Me,
That's
I've always been
it's coming.
I've always been the one to spark something.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
And hand it off. Go. Mm-hmm. You got it.
Right.
This for you. Huh.
True. Sometimes you do got to do that. You got to say that is for you.
I've always been like that. I've always been like this. It's hard for me to even. I'm like that now, but it was hard for me at one point to even just tell somebody no when they would ask for shit.
Right.
Because it was like, see somebody on the street, man. Can I get $20, man?
Right.
It was never an issue.
Right.
It was never an issue. So it's like, damn.
Yeah, we were built for this time, man. We were built for this. That's what we're here for. These are our missions. We're on them right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're on them right now. And that's why I said by you getting healthier and you connecting with that area right now, you're there for them. You know what I'm saying? You're there to uplift that whole area. That's how powerful you are. Because they didn't put nobody else close.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why people went online and started finding each other over these last 4 or 5 years. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They went online and started conversations with people so we could start finding people and going, yo, come over here. Come check us out. We talk about this shit. We do this stuff.
I just haven't walked just took that step on out there.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I get that urge to be like, okay, I'm about to put my foot. No.
That's the time
to
do
it. I'm with you. I used to be there too.
You know when it's time.
I used to be there too, but yeah, you'll know when it's time.
You know when it's
You'll
time.
You'll find that one. And when you hit that one, all of a sudden you're going to be like, fuck it. And then you're just going to go.
It's like having that.
That's
that
what happened to me.
I
just started going.
When it's on.
Fuck it.
You know, it's just not on for me yet. I'm at a place where I'm like, nah, you keep working on what you need to work on right now. Mm-hmm. When it's time for you to go, when it's time for you to turn it on,
you'll know.
You ain't gonna even know what's going on.
Right. You'll know. You'll know at that point. You'll just go, oh shit, all of that was a fucking dream.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have moments. I have moments where I tap in
because it was just a memory.
It'd be crazy. It'd be weird shit. It'd be movies. It'd be music. Mm-hmm. And I know I haven't tapped into that shit. And I'll be like, oh no.
Wait.
I try to hold it.
Are you talking about like if you're watching a movie, you almost feel like you've seen it before?
No. Oh. I'm just talking about like emotion.
Gotcha.
Or like I would say it's more of a like when a motherfucker like you watch different shows. I don't know if you watch anime. I watch a lot of anime.
No, I never got into it. Not my thing.
Man, certain ones that should be good, but they always have this moment to where they awaken or they just they like they level up, you know, upgrade. Mm-hmm. It'd be like upgrades or down. Some people call them downloads.
Right. That's what the community calls it. Downloads. I'm getting downloads. Yeah.
I just get stuck in a moment of a song or
it's just, beat. It's just when you get. It's just they're just saying when you get thoughts and ideas, they're just downloads. So,
yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because we're receivers. You know, that's what the crystal in our head is.
Because a lot of times I'll be having shit come to me. Like I'll wake up in the morning and this is probably the average person right now because the way we live now. Right. Grab that phone, look at that phone.
Yeah.
And I got
something. My morning shit I got to do.
Yeah, I'll see something. And the average thing I see now, and I think because the good old algorithm, Skynet, has gotten so good.
Skynet?
That's what I'm calling it.
I got you. I just was making sure we were clear.
It has gotten so good up until this point to where it fucks with you.
Oh, yeah.
It knows how to piss you off early in the morning.
It knows your triggers.
Everybody, this gender war is killing me.
Yeah. It's still
and I hate to see it because
it's still out there, man.
I understand it, and I be wanting to give in to the temptation of I'm about to get on the battlefield because I'm tired of these motherfuckers. They be saying shit and it just piss me off, and then I'm like, nah, chill out. You got to remember, everybody's different.
Not your fight.
Everybody's different, and some situations might sound similar, but everybody is different.
And here's the thing: the real argument here is I think we've said this on the show before. Is you're an adult. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's up to you. As long as you're not hurting children and you're not teaching it to children, then we're good. You know what I mean? Like, you can do whatever you need to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're an adult. You choose to do whatever fucking, you know what I mean? If you're, like, think about it. If you're in the game and you find a market and you can change your clothes and your face and your hair and shit, you're going to do it. You know what I mean? You're going to go, put a different fucking shirt on and do this and fucking, you know what I mean? You do it in the game. Yeah. So, if people want to do that here, that's up to them if they're an adult. But just don't be fucking with the kids, and we're good.
Right.
That's all that's all they're trying to say, and then they're making it into something else. You know, oh, they're not equal people, and it's like, no, that's not what we're saying. We have no problem. You do what you do.
Do you?
They're confusing y'all with all this other bullshit.
What you do now is not affecting me.
I'll be sitting up here like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Are we? What's the fight about?
Right.
Because it's like you ain't got to talk to nobody you don't want to talk to. Why is there even a conversation about this shit?
Right.
I'm like, y'all motherfuckers are drowning in the dating pool.
Mm-hmm.
I think the dating pool has took more lives in the past. I want to say 3 to 4 years.
Right. After
it has ever taken.
The jabber.
I'm like, golly, this shit is crazy. You know, I was riding, I was listening to one of the nonstop songs, and he it was always a favorite part of the song, and then it really hit me today.
Oh,
and I said maybe I should renew my vows to pimping. Shit.
Oh,
because these motherfuckers just make you not want to take shit serious and might not even want to try.
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, maybe it's your time to rest, and that made me be to rest from a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yep.
That was a big one. That was a big one. I needed to rest from my horse ways, and I've never really been that. I just picked up. I just took on what people was just throwing on me.
Right.
I ain't never lived a life like that shit. I just had fun, did what the fuck I wanted to do.
Right.
And I didn't try to take shit from nobody. Like, you know, like some
you
people
try to do them dirty. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like some people deal with somebody like, you can't do this, you can't do that. Man, I ain't about to tell nobody what they can't do.
Right.
Yeah, man, do whatever you want to do. Just shit, keep that shit away from me. We cool.
Right.
Yeah, because as far as you know, I'm a good old boy. I don't do shit.
Well, they know now. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, look, that died.
Right.
That was a part of that ego there.
I got you.
That died.
Yeah, because you see what? Because that's what they
changed.
Like you're saying, you know, with your journey is you're gaining control, and control means discipline, and you know what I mean, and understanding that certain things are you know have to be a certain way, because otherwise it'll just become an addiction. An addiction, nobody needs an addiction. So yeah.
Yeah. I know about addiction.
Mm-hmm. We all do.
I know about that motherfucker there. It used to be funny. Who was that? Was that old Miss? I don't want to put the name out there, but went to rehab for sexual addiction. I remember the first time I heard somebody say something about going to rehab for sexual addiction. I'm sitting up there like
that might have been code for some shit, man.
Damn.
I'm like, how could something so good be so bad that you gotta go to rehab for?
Yeah. And that shit mess your mind up for real.
When you look in the mirror,
really
you will realize, Phyllis, depending on how you live your life,
right?
You will realize how bad it can be.
Yeah.
You will realize it.
Yeah.
You will realize it.
If you hang out in them streets gonna find you.
Yeah. I was out there with the night walkers. Boy, I didn't care. I didn't care when I was younger. I just went where the wind blew me.
Right.
And I got to see some amazing shit.
Yeah.
And have fun.
That's awesome. See? You got memories.
And a couple of years ago, I went on an adventure.
Right,
I was getting off work, and I went to the casino.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love going to the casino, but this night I say I'm gonna go to the casino.
Right.
And this, it was older than the Cougar. This what you call this? What you say, a night rider? What's they call? What's after Cougar?
I don't know.
Thundercat.
A Thundercat?
That's what
shit! I don't know if I heard.
Granny.
This was one of the old Thundercats.
Nice.
Not the sandbags.
Oh.
And they asked me for a ride home.
She asked you for a ride
home. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to take you home. All right. The Thundercat, I'm trying to take the Thundercat home so I can go ahead and I can take my ass home. I'm ready to go home.
Just trying to drop her off.
The Thundercat was like, man, can you take me to go buy some weed?
Oh, now it's an adventure.
Okay, all right, cool. Here's the fucked up part about it. It was so fucked up in so many ways. I don't know this hood, this area like that.
Well,
I've been over there a lot of times
you.
in my life, but I don't know the people over there. I don't hang out over there.
Right. So you don't know what to expect.
We going here, we going there. She finally get whatever she was looking for, the weed.
Right.
Put it like that. All right. Take this joker home. Well, it's some more funny shit in between. But take this joker home. I'll double back to that. Because after I tell you the other part is gonna be, it'll make it more funny. So we double back. I take her home.
Okay.
All right. Finally get back there to the parking area where it. I've seen this building before. I don't know I've never been in this motherfucker.
Right.
But it's like an old project. You know, I had been in some shit like this since like a building like this is almost set up like the barracks or something. It's just like an old like projects, but
right,
it's like
same style. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's for like I guess old people. But it really wasn't. You know, I guess different types of people just staying up there. But it was like, okay, all right, pull up there. This motherfucker was adamant. She would not let it go. The Thundercat wanted me to come upstairs.
Well,
I didn't want to
when
go.
she got home?
Yeah, when I was dropping off.
Yeah, and she was like, follow me.
She trying to get me up there.
Right.
And,
nice. Okay.
And me, I'm like, okay.
Thought about it? Of course.
This is one of those times in life where you just go and see what happens.
Right.
So get on the elevator, get up there, get to the room.
So he goes. Nice.
Go up there. I'm sitting in the room, Thundercat like, come back here.
Not in my living room.
Lord, this where it got crazy.
Whoa. Are we going to get a good one
This
here?
where it got crazy. Let me tell you what Thundercat do. I've been around this shit before. So I immediately knew what the fuck it was. That Thundercat pulled out that pipe. There wasn't no motherfucking weed. That motherfucker got some numbers.
Crackhead?
Oh, man.
I'm sitting up here like, I'm just in awe. I'm at this point, I'm like, hell no. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, nigga, boy,
that's why the house look crazy.
This shit. Right. I'm like, nobody will believe this shit.
Nobody will believe
this motherfucker. I'm sitting up there, I'm looking, this motherfucker hit this motherfucker. This motherfucker.
Ret to go.
That motherfucker hit that dope. And I'm just sitting, I'm watching now because I want to see the change. I want to see, all the whole experience. I want to make sure I don't miss shit.
Right.
I want to see the change.
Like, who are you after that hit?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to see this motherfucker shift once he hit this shit.
Right.
Yeah.
The motherfucker that hit this shit. And I'm going to tell you one thing.
They look crazy, too.
One thing, something going to always come through. I don't care. I don't know how many situations I done been in, but something always come through at the perfect time and save me.
Nice.
Something always come through. I guess it was a wrestler. That nigga knocked on the door.
Oh.
Boy, I was like, hallelujah. Because by this time, she done hit the dope. She up there trying to dance, and she, get your ass back. Don't come over here. She trying to go with her move. Boy, but when a person just show up there like that,
right?
He come look for that goddamn dope too.
Mm-hmm.
They party together.
Yep.
Boy, that was my out. 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 But I was like,
just tagged him in.
Right. I was like, shit. Man, I was like, I can't be doing this shit no more.
Right.
Just be going on these adventures. I got too old for just to be just living carefree. But before we had got to the room at the stove, My dumb ass should have picked up on it then. I wasn't using my context clues.
Right.
I wasn't using my context clues. I'm seeing all the shit. We at the store. We done with the store. I done got my shit. I done came out the store. It was two dudes sitting over in the truck, and they was on them. And these dudes look like they probably a little bit older than me, but they was on it. They were trying to get them.
Right.
I'm sitting up here like, shit. Hopefully she about to get in that motherfucker with them. I'm trying to go home.
Right.
But that was I should have known from then. That should have told me everything because they knew the motherfucker. That should have been the moment where I was like,
she from here.
something's wrong with this motherfucker.
Yeah. Something's going on.
Yeah, but I just the
curiosity.
I don't even want to say curiosity, but that nature of service.
Oh, you had
being nice to somebody.
You had to complete the trip. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
you had to make sure she got home. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, man, I was just like,
yeah, I'm with you on that.
But it didn't matter. I'm just trying to, make sure she get home because she asked for a ride and shit like that. But I still allowed this motherfucker to take me through so much shit.
They try to temptation is always there. Temptation is always there.
I wasn't comfortable the whole fucking time, but I allowed her to walk me through this whole experience. And thinking about that right now, I'm just looking back on.
Oh, my bad.
just thinking back and looking at different shit, how being and wanting to do stuff for people,
right,
and be nice in moments where you just need to turn your ass around and go the other way.
Well, that's building your intuition. Your intuition would have told you that was a bad move. You know what I mean?
But see, that's the crazy thing about it. I've always, I've had some crazy ass fucking, I don't even know what to call them bitches because they wasn't missions. I've had some fucking adventures, man.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it could be past lives. It could be, you know what I mean? It could be future stuff that hasn't happened yet. I mean, it could be any of that. It's all happening right now.
I ended up in some crazy fucking places. Didn't know how the fuck I got there. Mm-hmm. Like you say, in them fucking streets.
Yep. you can get caught up real fast if you let it roll.
But I've always went with it, and I've always made it through. I've always made it through those moments.
Because you're supposed to be here. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be here, and you're supposed to get those adventures and ideas and learn from them, and that's why you're a better person now. You know what I mean? If they always talk. Let's finish out with this. We're gonna wrap this up because we've been talking for a minute, but I know it's good conversation, people.
We're getting ready to wrap this up.
That's what I'm saying. We'll have to do another one.
I ain't even ready to shut up.
Right.
It got me just thinking about so much shit, man.
There you go.
This is exactly what we see what I'm saying? This is the conversation we needed to have.
Yeah, it got me thinking about so much shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. We've got to book us for the next one, right? When are we gonna do the next one? Who knows? Maybe we'll do 2 in a row. You never know how it's gonna work.
Look, long as I'm here and ain't shit going on, I'm gonna pick up that damn phone.
He's gonna call in.
That's what's
There we go. There we go. We'll get a little call. We'll see what happens. We'll see what's random here and there.
Bless you.
Just give us a we'll get what do they call it? My bad. I'm fucking fumbling right now. We'll get a report on the land from Dane. What's the report today? What's the report today?
Boy, look.
Bring it into the show.
Nah.
Shit,
it'd be too much shit going on, dude. It'd be too much shit going on. Exactly. I can't do no news report. I don't want to talk about nobody, man. Because I end up, boy, man, it's just every day is something new.
Yeah, no, I got you.
We get some moments to where ain't nothing happening. But if shit between, boy, we done had some good news. I ain't gonna say good news really just hit the waves, but there's been some interesting shit going on in the world of sports and hip hop.
Everything,
shit. Man, it's always
it's disclosure. It's happening. It's happening, folks. It's what we've been talking about. It's happening. They're telling us shit. All you got to do is be paying attention.
Yeah, them adventures.
Yeah.
Man, I just seen something today. Not too long ago, they done signed a bill for AI in the classrooms.
I did hear something about that, I think.
I'm like,
at this point, why do they even go to a school?
Who programmed this shit?
You can do that at home.
Yeah.
You don't even need to go to school.
Parents can build their own AI teacher for their child at home and let them teach whatever they want.
Exactly. That works.
That cut costs right there.
That works. Then I don't got to pay the taxes, right?
I had already started coming up with a thing for school, and where kids didn't have to fucking go to these schools like that no more.
That's your healing center. You add that in. Think big, brother. Think big.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's your healing center. You have school. You have, you know what I mean? You have all these things. It's a healing center.
Man. Dog, it's bigger than that. I was thinking about the teachers themselves.
Right.
I'm like, y'all sit there like a lot of them be talking about, man, we don't get paid this much money and we don't make enough money. Why are you still there? You got the credentials. You can set up your own little small classroom and get certain kids in the neighborhood.
A lot of them did.
How many you can handle and do that shit there?
Yeah,
and how many
did.
stay in the neighborhood? Y'all can cover all the kids in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could survive. Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And then sports, they can always meet up here.
Right. But yeah, let's chop it now before we keep going. We appreciate you coming, man. Appreciate you hanging out.
For real.
Great conversation.
No problem, man.
This was great conversation. It's exciting.
Yeah. I didn't know where it was gonna go.
Yeah. So, but we're gonna go ahead and chop it now before it gets too crazy.
Yeah.
And we'll talk again. Appreciate you, brother.
So,
all right. Later.
All right, Dane.
Peace.
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right, folks. We pushed it to almost 2 hours. But it was good conversation. That's why this episode works that way. So we hope you appreciate it. And with that, Awkward Intelligence, I'm Intox, along with
BDot, baby.
And our special guest, Dane. We'll talk to him again.
Awkward Intelligence. Just smoking vibes. This is Awkward Intelligence. Just smoking vibes.